Coming up on 7:59 on your Tuesday morning drive, we take you to Clackamas County, southbound I-205 from Gladstone to Oregon City, puttering along a little bit, and that's always this time of the morning, right? About 15 miles an hour the drive over the Abernathy Bridge into Westland. 84 westbound, slow and steady coming in from 82nd Avenue. Right now, that total trip in from Troutdale is about 30 minutes. West of the I-5 split. And last but not least, the end of the line on the I-5 drive out of Clark County starts right at SR 500. And from there, it's slow and steady the rest of the way into town. About 31 minutes now. Get you in from Main Street. Rod?
All right, Chris, thank you for that update. We have a clear sky day, and it will be another day with hot afternoon temperatures. Right now, very comfortable outside. Current number out of PDX is rising and up to 65 degrees. A quick reminder as you look at the three sisters from the Cameron Aspen Lakes Golf Course over in Sisters, you folks under a red flag warning today for high fire danger, and the reason thunderstorm activity expected later this afternoon into this evening. Back to Portland's day planner, 77 at noon, and there's the hot weather, 90. But look at tomorrow, clouds only 75 on Wednesday.
Now at 8 o'clock, an alleged drunk driver accused of plowing through a crowd in Portland's Old Town leaves several people hurt.
It was so fast. I watched my leg get hit, a lot of my friends.
And prosecutors say this isn't the first time the suspect has faced drunk driving charges.
Plus, a hit and run in southeast Portland leaves two Tiger teens hurt.
I think he hit me with the left corner of his car because I have a bruise that's like the exact shape of a headlight, like distinctly the shape of a headlight.
The car police now want you to look out for.
Also ahead, deadly floods in Texas raise new questions about staffing at the National Weather Service.
They are tired. People are tired. People, they need to get a break.
Would more forecasters really have made a difference for this once-in-a-lifetime weather event? We're covering that topic in our national headlines.
And later, part 2 of a KGW deep dive into the recovery in Burns after heavy flooding decimated the city.
It kind of makes you think, do I want to still live here, Makes us wonder.
As many desperate community members wonder why the state and federal government haven't provided much help in the months since disaster struck. KGW's 8 o'clock hour sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Now, we've been at it since 5 o'clock this morning.
Yep.
A lot of people would say, hey, it's time to start slowing things down. But I say, no, let's hit the gas pedal, gang. Let's keep going through this hour. Rodney Hill, bring the energy.
I will say, when you say it like that, though, we've been here since 5 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock now. That seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. We hope your morning's off to a good start. We have another clear sky day with hot afternoon temperatures coming like yesterday. Not crazy hot, but I do have Portland getting back up to about 90. We're looking at the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club camera out in Aloha, of course, in Washington County. 65 is the number there. Here's downtown. We have light winds, 65 degrees as well. Looks like about 77 at noon. So again, enjoy the morning hours, maybe outdoor lunch today. Later on, though, in the sun, getting up to 90 for a high temperature. Here is Chris.
Thanks for that sunny forecast. All right, let's get you out the door. Heads up in Skamania County starting, now in the 8 o'clock hour throughout the day until 5 o'clock. They're doing some paving on SR 14 near Franz Road, a 2-mile stretch there down to one alternating lane. So as they flag traffic through, obviously you'll have to stop and wait for several minutes. So just be aware of that. Back to the drive through Tualatin, northbound I-5 in full swing near the 205 interchange. That's a bit slow, as is the drive through Clackamas County, specifically 205 southbound from Oregon City down to the Abernathy Bridge. And that's obviously a normal pinch point for this morning or this time of a Tuesday morning commute. Westbound 84, a little slow and go there right now as well. Right now, your total drive in from Troutdale is about 27 minutes westbound to get you to the I-5 split. Drew?
Thank you, Chris. Let's get to our top news story here at 8 o'clock. A man accused of driving drunk and into a crowd of more than 50 people early on the 4th of July appeared in court yesterday.
According to witnesses, he hit as many as a dozen people after running a stop sign in Portland's Old Town. As KGW's Catherine Cook found out, some of those witnesses fear it could happen again.
Moments of chaos in Portland's Old Town. Just after 2 a.m. Friday, police say the driver of this gray Mustang blew through a stop sign near Northwest 4th and Cooch, hitting and injuring multiple people. On Monday, the driver, 32-year-old Tyler William Miller, was in court.
He then barreled through a crowd of innocent bystanders.
He's charged with DUII, reckless driving, assault in the 3rd degree, and 15 counts of recklessly endangering another person. Miller pleaded not guilty.
It was so fast. I watched my leg get hit, a lot of my friends.
2 victims called into court asking the judge to keep Miller behind bars.
We have to relive that moment every day, and I do not think that any of us will feel safe knowing he's back on the streets and can get behind another vehicle drunk how he was.
Court documents show Miller's blood alcohol level was .19, more than twice the legal limit. One officer writing, "I told Tyler that he could have killed many people. I asked him if he realized what he just did, and he told me no."
Initially, they were up at the window saying you need to stop your car, put it in park. And he was fumbling with the controls of the vehicle and actually backed up quite a ways. And so they're still trying to get him to stop. You know, they're worried that someone else might get hurt.
Initially, police said 4 victims went to the hospital, some with broken bones. In court, prosecutors noted 5 other victims had since come forward.
Very serious crime and very serious consequences coming at him.
Attorney Jason Kafori is representing one of the victims.
We'd like witnesses and we'd like people to come forward that can both give the police information and also the victim's information.
In court, prosecutors noted this was not Miller's first time facing drunk driving charges. Last year, he completed a diversion program in Washington County, which led the court to dismiss a DUI charge.
What has clearly been shown is that what he was taught during the diversion program really did not stick.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
One more note to Catherine's report. The judge set bail at $50,000 and Miller is due back in court next week.
In Tiger, 2 teens are at home recovering after they were struck by a hit-and-run driver in southeast Portland. Authorities say the 2 18-year-olds were hit in a crosswalk by a driver who ran a red light. Now, this was just after midnight on Sunday, June 29th at Southeast 122nd and Market Street right there, which is an area designated as a high crash corridor. One of the teens suffered cuts and bruises, the other broken a leg.
I think he hit me with the left corner of his car because I have a bruise that's like the exact shape of a headlight, like distinctly the shape of a headlight.
I do think there's an issue of like, that was seriously concerning if you hit 2 young pedestrians, another car, and your instinct is, I gotta get out of here.
Police are trying to find the driver of the car. They describe the vehicle as a black or dark colored SUV. If you know anything, contact Portland Police.
We're tracking a new wildfire this morning that started yesterday in the gorge, prompting level 1 and 2 evacuation orders in the town of Wyeth. That's about 8 miles east of Cascade Locks. The most recent update shows the Wyeth fire has burned at least 25 acres. At one point, we know it was impacting transmission lines, cutting off power to Cascade Locks, but we know that power is back on this morning. Evacuations are focused on the Wyeth campground and the area around Herman Creek Road. I-84, by the way, is still open through that stretch, but officials say smoke could impact drivers' visibility. Another growing wildfire is shutting down popular trails in the Olympic National Forest. We're talking about the Bear Gulch Fire, which started Sunday night near Lake Cushman. So far, the fire has burned around 200 acres in really steep and rocky terrain. So there are several trails closed at this point, including Mount Rose, Dry Creek, Copper Creek, and the Staircase area and campground. There is no containment at this point, but so far this fire has not threatened any homes or any structures.
Meanwhile, Pacific Power has been shutting off electricity in some spots this summer to reduce wildfire risk. That includes one outage in Bend that impacted thousands of people. Pacific Power says that these outages are triggered by enhanced safety settings, like when wildlife, vegetation, or high winds interfere with power lines, especially in areas flagged with elevated wildfire risk. But some locals wonder if it's going too far.
I'd like to see a mutual agreement and an understanding of why the power was automatically shut off. Maybe they've gone too far on the spectrum where they're shutting the power off when it really didn't need to be.
Pacific Power says that these safety settings help prevent wildfires. They say customers got an email before fire season telling them the outages could become more frequent. The utility says it's also working to reduce the frequency and duration of outages.
So far, Rod, at least on this part of the Cascades, we haven't been hit with the really hot, sustained weather this summer, but you said that may start to change middle to late next week?
Could. You know, so far the hottest temperature has been 96. If we hit 90 today, this will become our 6th 90-plus degree day so far this summer season. All those have been back-to-backers. We hit 90 yesterday. What Drew was alluding to is that at least a couple of models are showing we could have a run of 3, 4, 5 hot days in a row developing next week that would include our first 100-degree heat of the year. So still a ways out there, and models have been kind of hitting it and backing off and then hitting it and backing off, so we'll see. but just note that's something we're watching. I do want to start with the heat advisory for the Columbia Basins today from Hermiston eastward out toward Pendleton up into Washington for temperatures anywhere from 100 to 105 to even 106. This shows Arlington at 106 today. Now you folks will get cooler weather coming in tomorrow. So it's the heat advisory today for you. Here's the Pioneer Park building camera looking down at the square. Got some tents set up. The bricks will be hot again later this afternoon. Right now the bricks are nice. 65. We're clear. This is the comfortable part of your day, obviously. It is cloudy / foggy up and down all of the coast again at this hour this morning. 46 Newport, 56 in Astoria. Looking at least for some partial clearing during the day as we get rolling through with highs in the 60s. Warmest spot on the map is Wenatchee at 77. You folks in the Dalles are at 74. You'll be up into the 90s easily today. Here is the Gorge forecast showing the Dalles at 97, Hood River at 91. Yesterday you had light winds, but today westerlies will start picking back up. Northwest breezes 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here are the afternoon temps. We'll stop the map at 4 p.m. Thunderstorm risk in central Oregon out toward the blues later today, and then the upper 80s to 90 in the valley. Portland could just get back up to 90. 2-day cool down tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow there will be some spots, especially north coast, get a little bit of light moisture with those clouds. Only 75 tomorrow, so enjoy that. Sunny skies this weekend. Here's Chris.
Hey, Rod, thanks for that. Of course, we were talking about the Wildfire that blew up in the last couple of days in the Gorge. This is Interstate 84 near Cascade Locks, the fire location east of here several miles, but to the point that we mentioned the story, maybe seeing a little bit of haze in the air, and that's kind of what we see. The freeway itself, Interstate 84, is open. All right, back to the local roads here. We've got our typical red spots indicating the slowing. One of them through Tualatin, that's I-5 northbound on the left-hand side of your screen, rolling up towards the 205 interchange. Elsewhere across the map, we've got plenty of other slow spots through Oregon City on I-205 southbound. Oregon City from, well, Gladstone down to Oregon City. We're moving along at about 18 miles an hour there, so that's a little tight, as is the drive on 84 westbound through the Gateway District. Total commute right now in from Troutdale, 26 minutes to the I-5 split. Drew, China?
Thank you, Chris. Coming up here at 8 o'clock, thousands dodging the horns. Oh, this is always crazy, right? Thousands of people dodging the horns during Spain's famous running of the bulls. Not everyone makes it out unscathed, and those are the people who wind up in the highlights. We'll have more on this after the break. But first,
the search, rescue, and recovery mission continues here in the Texas Hill Country as a cleanup and recovery now slowly begins. I'm Jay Gray. The latest from the flood zone coming up.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
welcome back to Sunrise. Now to the latest on the deadly floods in Texas. We know more than 100 people have already died. That includes 27 children and counselors staying at a summer camp.
That number is expected to grow with dozens of people still missing. NBC's Jay Gray brings us more from the flood zone.
Well, the Texas Hill Country now in what is the 5th day of the search, rescue, and recovery effort here. We saw choppers in the air well before the sun came up here, and so it's still a 24-hour process, hoping for a miracle, hoping to find someone in what is debris like you see here. All of this pulled from this home, and the people who were here got out as the mud, as the water rushed in, and now they begin slowly to shift towards some type of cleanup here. And really, when you talk to those on the ground, the survivors, they're quick to tell you there's no one in Kerrville or really even Kerr County that has not been affected by what's happened here.
You can't hardly not be affected by the trauma that's going on here right now. I've seen they have had bodies yesterday, day before yesterday, right here, and right here in my backyard, and we just pray for them and just hold them deep in our heart. One of my girls that used to work here, her daughter was at Camp Mystic and didn't make it, and so our heart is just broken over that.
I mean, you can hear the emotion, you can hear the pain of what's been lost here. This is a community that continues to struggle, continues to hope that some of those, the dozens that are missing, will be found alive here as they do make that slow turn toward starting to clean up, starting to face some type of recovery. That's sure to be long, difficult, and they're going to need some help along the way. That's the latest from here in Kerrville. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
Meantime, the National Weather Service says its Central Texas office was prepared for the devastating storms, but there are growing questions about the timeline of issued weather alerts and possible gaps in the warning system. Scott Friedman has more.
The deadly storm that swept through the Texas Hill Country, shining a light on the critical role of National Weather Service forecasters, called on to issue alerts when every minute counts. As NBC5 Investigates reported, Weather Service records show forecasters warned of flooding 12 hours before the storm and then issued more urgent warnings in the early morning hours before the Guadalupe River reached flood stage. The union representing forecasters saying Weather Service offices in Central Texas were prepared.
The staffing that we had in both San Angelo and San Antonio offices, we had adequate amount of staff to get out the alerts and warnings to the public.
But union officials say if flooding happened in other cities across the country, some Weather Service offices might not be adequately staffed. In Texas, the union says 30% of jobs at the Weather Service office in Houston are vacant. They say the Fort Worth office that covers the DFW area is better staffed, but still has 3 vacant forecaster positions, according to union officials. The union fears forecasters working long hours to cover extra shifts can lead to burnout, especially during the dangerous summer storm season.
They are tired. People are tired. People, they need to get a break.
Forecasters have complained about staffing shortages for years. In fact, 10 years ago, NBC5 Investigates reported there were about 500 vacant frontline forecaster positions at Weather Service offices nationwide due to budget cuts and periodic hiring freezes. But the union says the situation became more critical this year when they say about 600 staffers left the agency. About 100 probationary employees were laid off in Trump administration cuts, the union says, and hundreds of workers took early retirement offers.
That's 600 less people working to help keep you safe every day.
In a statement to NBC5 Investigates, a National Weather Service spokesperson said the agency plans to hire additional forecasters soon, saying a targeted number of permanent mission-critical field positions will soon be advertised in the coming weeks. The agency said it's also temporarily assigning employees to offices with the greatest staffing needs, but a spokesperson did not respond to questions about specific staffing numbers. In recent days, the Weather Service has said warnings it issued in the Central Texas floods provided hours of lead time. But questions remain about whether those warnings reached victims in an area with sometimes spotty cell phone coverage and no local warning siren system. Senator Ted Cruz saying today he wants an assessment of how to better warn in the future.
There will be another flood, there will be another disaster. But next time there's a flood, I hope we have in place processes to remove especially the most vulnerable from harm's way.
The Forecasters Union agrees.
We do need to have some type of national assessment on this.
Hoping more research and more trained eyes on the sky can help the next city in the path of disaster.
All right, on the heels of that report, I want to bring Rod back into the mix. You were saying yesterday, and we talked about it earlier this morning, in your opinion, which I really trust and respect, it didn't matter how many more forecasters they brought into the mix leading up to this. It was a storm of a lifetime, and it was impossible to predict the magnitude.
There's some reality checks here, and the biggest one is weather modeling is getting better. Weather modeling doesn't pinpoint, oh my gosh, this is going to be a storm that drops 7 inches in a little bit more than an hour or two in this exact area, and all that water is going to go in the Guadalupe River, and in less than an hour, the Guadalupe River is going to go from knee deep to 30 feet deep. Meteorology is not that good. It's just not. And the cold reality is when you realize that is happening, at that point, it's too late.
I thought the analogy you had of you can build an earthquake-proof bridge, for example, and to withstand the 10.0 magnitude earthquake, but when you get hit with a 20.0 magnitude earthquake,
that building's gone, or that bridge is gone. I mean, a lot of sadness here, obviously. They talked about the timeline. You know, from the Weather Service, they did what's orchestrated to be done. But my question with the warning, this is the critical time here. The first flood watch comes out in the afternoon, Thursday. This was early Friday mornings when this happened. Thursday evening is upgraded to warning, fine. 1:14, now we got a considerable flood warning. Now the Weather Service is like, we've got heavy rain rates falling, we got growing confidence, we're going to have river flooding, we're going to have a mess. But, and I can't speak further because I wasn't there, but I'm going to make the assumption based on my 37, 38 years of experience that nobody's foreseeing what they've never saw before, and that's that river going from knee deep to almost 30 feet in less than an hour. 4:03 a.m. emergency flood warning. I circled this because in a perfect world, it's somewhere in this time frame that we would have had personnel in cars going in to that area with bullhorns saying, you've got to get out, you've got to get up, we've got to evacuate you. Much like we would with the tsunami setting here along the Oregon and Washington coast, right? We do that. That's what this needed to have. I haven't heard that it did have that, but to me, that's the only way you could have saved these people and gotten them out. The river level, again, it was knee deep in less than an hour and 45 minutes. It went up to 27, 28 feet. Again, you're not going to, in today's world of meteorology, you're probably not going to see that happening until that happens. And by then, it's too late. Everything happens in the flash of an instant. The rivers are back down below 3 feet now. You see, here's that July 4th rise in the Guadalupe, and then on Saturday the 5th, it quickly came back down, and now it's back down where it normally is, which is about a knee-deep river. I also read that the cabins for that Camp Mystic, they're not right along the river, they're up an elevation away, and I'm sure if you get a flood warning too, you're thinking, we're fine. River might jump to 10, 12 feet, 15 feet, we're fine. Nobody's thinking the river's going to go to 27, 30, 34 feet. And it did. So you've got that problem too. You hear a flood warning, you're like, yeah, we have these all the time. So how do you let people know that this is different? You've got to get up and get out, other than getting boots on the ground with people with bullhorns rounding up people. There's lots to talk about to see how we can better handle this type of situation next time. Here are the clouds offshore. That's the cool pocket of air that will sweep in tomorrow and bring us a cool down. A quick reminder, see the red Bend, Madras out toward John Day. That's a red flag warning, high fire danger today. High fire danger is also expected in the light tan areas for tomorrow. Here's the thunderstorms blowing up in parts of central and eastern Oregon this afternoon. There you can see them on Futurecast. Our forecast for the valley is really simple. It's just a sunny, hot day. We get up to about 90 degrees this afternoon. We have 2 cool-off days, tomorrow and Thursday in the 70s, and we're back to sun and 91, 88. Chris, I know you followed that as well, and I don't even know if we have time, but do you have any thoughts on that from what you know?
Very comprehensive look, and I'm with you. Maybe just getting folks out, like, law enforcement, part of their emergency managers, just out there when they know that it's imminent and as bad as it's going to be. But yeah, it's just a terrible situation. All right, back to the drive right now. I-5 southbound, the end of the line now has made its way south of SR 500. We're zipping along here, and then you hit the slowing right around Mill Plains. So the drive is improving on that side of town. Still, though, a solid 24 minutes. There you can see, ticking down there from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. I-5 through Tualatin, a little thick through the 205 interchange, and then slows again through the Twilliger curves. But here, too, we're seeing the drive time improve just a bit. The total commute in from Wilsonville right now is just under 30 minutes to the Markham Bridge. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Still ahead, TikTok says it's laying off dozens of employees here in the Pacific Northwest. why it's making a change, and what it could mean for the future of the social media app coming up in your national headlines.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Now to your morning rush. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met at the White House last night. Their meeting focused on the recent military strikes against Iran and proposal for a ceasefire deal in Gaza. At a private dinner last night, Netanyahu said he nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Conservative influencers are blasting Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Trump administration after a new Justice Department memo found no secret Epstein client list. It also ruled Epstein's 2019 death a suicide. Some conservatives and public figures, including Elon Musk, claim it's a cover-up and say Bondi misled the public. But the White House says that the investigation was thorough. And new this morning, dozens of TikTok employees in Bellevue, Washington, looking for a new job. The company laid off 65 people Monday, according to paperwork filed with the state. Parent company ByteDance says that it's restructuring its TikTok shop department, and it comes as the popular social media app announced that it will build a new version of the app specifically for users in the United States. That's expected to launch in September. And a man was gored and 7 others were injured during a second day of the running of the Bulls Festival in Spain. The centuries-old tradition runs the bulls along the city's winding cobblestone roads to the city's bull ring. Occasionally, people are gored at hundreds of such bull running events every year in Spain, and that's your morning rush. And coming up in our next half hour, the continued fallout after Oregon lawmakers failed to pass the state's transportation package. Plus, a community comes together in Houston to honor the Camp Mystic campers and counselors lost in Central Texas floods. The emotional tribute and heartfelt stories next.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Good morning, I'm China Green. A 32-year-old man accused of driving drunk and hitting up to a dozen people in Old Town faced a judge yesterday. Police say Tyler Miller ran a stop sign on 4th and Cooch just after 2 a.m. on July 4th. Initially, 4 people went to the hospital, some of them with broken bones. 5 other victims have also come forward. Police say Miller's blood alcohol was more than twice the legal limit at the time. He pleaded not guilty and is due back in court next week. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather.
Well, we have ourselves another sunny day and another summer afternoon with temperatures expected to get up to about 90 degrees. Right now, Portland's at 65. So as I always say, take advantage of the morning hours, 77 at noon. There's that forecast high getting up to about 90 this afternoon. We did hit 90 yesterday, by the way. Let me move this way. Here's the cool down tomorrow and Thursday. So maybe you want to put off some outdoor work until tomorrow or Thursday. Tomorrow, a lot of cloud cover all day, 75. Thursday, it's morning clouds, afternoon sun, and 78. And then we go sunny into the weekend. Could hit 91 on Friday, but we think the weekend right now holds in the 80s.
We start this half hour in Tacoma, Washington, where the Point Defiant Zoo and Aquarium shared pictures of this new penguin chick. His name is Pedro. He's a month old and weighs 5 pounds. And the zoo says he's already eating whole fish, but they're keeping him behind the scenes for now to let him learn how to swim. He's adorable.
We can't really get dressed up, do you know? They're pretty casual when they're young, the penguins, then they get dressed up later in life.
When they put that tuxedo on?
Yeah.
There is a timeline for that, but you're right. I think they get a little, I'm just going to say uglier before they get fancier.
Oh, wow.
Because they have to go through this process where they lose the feathers and then put on that coat. You know, the Oregon Zoo has had quite a few penguin chicks born there at our zoo over the last few years. So, and we don't really appreciate there just how small they are. I needed to see that next to like a big penguin.
Tiny.
It's a tiny penguin.
He's cute. Adorable.
Okay, that was for you, I think. You like those cute
I
zoo
do.
stories.
Cute. Speaking of cute.
This is our, thank you. This is our penguin moment. Let's get you outside to the Reserve Majors and Golf Club in Aloha. Awkward. All right, we've got blue skies, a nice morning underway. We're at 65 degrees. Lots of crews out working the green, it looks like they're out at the Reserve. Beautiful day coming, but it will be hot again this afternoon. So look for the temperatures to start nearing 90 degrees no later than 4 o'clock this afternoon. 65 right now. We've got 77 at noon, and there's the 90-degree high at 5, which we did hit yesterday, so it would be back-to-backers if we do it. Remember, we have the heat advisory today east of the Dalles, so Hermiston, Pendleton, up into the Columbia Basin of Washington. This shows Pendleton 99 at 5 o'clock, but your high expected hit 100, and there could be 105, 106 readings up through the basin today. And then you see the thunderstorm threat this afternoon in central Oregon, maybe migrating toward the blues. Red flag warnings are up for high fire danger because of possible new fire starts. And especially in the Chutes and even Jefferson County, the Weather Service believes there could be what we call dry lightning. So you get the lightning, but you don't have any rain with it. And that, of course, increases the odds that you get some fires starting. So that'll be monitored closely. 90 today. Here's the pleasant cool down. Tomorrow, clouds, 75. Thursday, clouds to sun, and 78. And then just like that, we jump back up to about 90 on Friday. Right now, the weekend looks like it's warm, but holding in the 80s. Sunny skies expected both days, Saturday and Sunday. Here is Chris McGinnis.
Rod, let's take it to the east side. Photojournalist Chad Dehart manning the wheel of Drive 8. He's headed east Portland out towards Gresham, so the I-84 eastbound commute looks great on that side of town. We'll take you down to the south. I-5 northbound traffic puttering along a little bit near Capitol Highway. There you can see, I'll step out of the way. The speed sensors show about 15 miles an hour from Capitol Highway up into the Terwilliger curves. At last check, you're still holding about 30 minutes or so to get you in from Wilsonville. The I-5 drive out of Clark County, the end of the line has made its way down to the Interstate Bridge. It's still about a 22-minute ride, though, from there the rest of the way down to the Fremont Bridge. Drew, China?
All right, thank you, Chris. Top news headline here at 8:30. A Coast Guard rescue along the Oregon coast in Lincoln City, where 2 teenagers were trapped on a steep, slippery rock this past weekend. They were stuck at the infamous God's Thumb at Road's End Point. A Lincoln City fire and rescue captain had already gotten there to help the boys out when the Coast Guard helicopter arrived and lifted them to safety.
I think they were relieved that they were going to get out of there. I think they'd been sitting there for well over an hour at that point, knowing this was probably their only way out. And then it kind of went from relief to, once I got there and explained what I was going to do, there was the first survivor looked a little bit terrified.
That spot has been the scene of 6 different rescues over the last 3 years. And just 2 months ago, the Coast Guard airlifted 2 25-year-old women that is, from the same area. So we do have a few quick reminders for your next hike. Number 1, always try to go with someone else. Have your cell phone charged up so you can call for help. Check local trail conditions before you head out, and always pay attention to any warning signs that may be posted. Meanwhile, in Skamania County, search and rescue crews saw a 550% increase in calls last month as compared to June of last year. The sheriff's office reported 12 incidents in June. That's one almost every other day, bringing this year's total to 42. Keep in mind, there were only 54 calls during the entirety of last year. So the sheriff's office there shared these reminders for tackling the great outdoors. Always be prepared. Know your limits. Remember to carry extra food, clothing, and water. And they say also remember to tell someone where you're headed and when you plan to be back so they can call for help if you don't return.
The Yamhill County Sheriff's Office is investigating after they say multiple people were stabbed and a deputy shot at someone. This happened just before 7 o'clock last night on Southeast Sheridan Road in Sheridan. The stabbing victims were taken to the hospital. No word on the extent of their injuries or if anyone was killed. We will continue to bring you updates on this. In the meantime, in Washington, Washington County, a man is being charged with multiple counts of attempted murder after police say he allegedly drove his truck through a 3-inch thick steel gate at Sherwood, our facility, then started randomly shooting at people. 41-year-old Travis Bloomhagen made his first court appearance yesterday. He did not make a plea and will remain in custody until at least next week. We spoke to the owner of the RV facility where this all took place.
He actually also shot at a kid in their detail in a pickup. So that kid ran for cover and hid in a storage unit.
That is wild.
Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Authorities say while he was trying to get away, Bloomhagen rammed a Sherwood patrol car and fired his gun at officers. A Tualatin police officer fired back. Both the suspect and the officer in the patrol car were taken to the hospital.
Now to an update on what will be the largest layoff in the history of Oregon state government. Governor Kotek said yesterday that nearly 500 ODOT employees were told that they'll be laid off at the end of the month. And another roughly 450 vacant positions were also eliminated, bringing the total number of positions cut to 932. Now, these cuts all stem from the Oregon legislature's failure to pass a transportation funding package last month. Oregon Governor Kotek, that is, says at least 100 more employees could also lose their jobs during a second round of layoffs early next year. Now, that is assuming, of course, that the situation doesn't change before then. In a statement, Governor Kotek said, quote, "Consequences to essential transportation services are imminent across the entire state." She says this is not business as usual. These layoffs constitute an emergency in Oregon's transportation system that will hurt every part of the state. She did add that she could call lawmakers back to Salem saying this, quote, "This emergency was preventable and we still have time to intervene. Come winter, without a shared commitment to solve this crisis from partners and lawmakers, Oregonians will likely be left in the cold, literally." According to the governor's statement, the impacts from these layoffs will include cutting back on things like pothole repairs, road maintenance, and graffiti removal. And when winter does arrive, she says we can expect slower and less frequent snow and ice removal. The governor went on to say that ODOT will buy less sand, less de-icer, and will not be able to replace the old vehicles in its fleet.
Meantime, months after heavy floods decimated eastern Oregon, the city of Burns is still looking for help. They haven't received money from FEMA, and city officials say the state hasn't provided much. As Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz explains, Burns is desperate at this point for any sort of relief.
The streets of Burns, Oregon are quiet. Neighborhoods seem tranquil. But look inside a home and you'll find a different story.
This is cut up this far because the water was about here, but it wicks, you know.
Richard Campbell has lived in Burns for 12 years. Like many, his home is uninhabitable after flooding this spring.
When it was going on, a lot of people got pretty stressed out.
Campbell and many others didn't have flood insurance. Many felt like they didn't need it since Burns never badly flooded. But this spring, that changed.
You know, it kind of makes you think, do I want to still live here, you know? makes us wonder.
City officials say many have left. Around 500 people are displaced.
They're without resources.
Judy Irwin is the city manager and a Burns native. She's never seen the town flood so badly. But this year was different due to wildfires last summer.
Those fires removed the canopy and the underbrush in the forest, which is what normally slows down the snow melt.
Irwin says the fires happened on federal land. The Bureau of Land Management says they're replanting sagebrush and grass seed on the affected area, though Irwin says she didn't see much progress before the heavy floods.
I've lately found myself feeling really angry about what's happening.
After flooding, the city of Burns asked FEMA for assistance, though quickly city officials realized they may be on their own.
We've been told we can expect nothing from FEMA.
Irwin says FEMA told her the damage in Burns wasn't extensive enough to warrant their assistance, though Burns officials believe FEMA undercalculated the damage. We reached out to FEMA, but never heard back.
I'm very disillusioned with the federal government.
Burns also asked for $6 million in state assistance to fix its sewer system. They got half that. The county also received $3 million from the legislature.
We have a tremendous amount of repairs just in city infrastructure.
Steve McCartney is the police chief in Burns. He adds while the small town grapples with severe damage, its tax base is shrinking, making it even harder to fix infrastructure problems.
It just doesn't look hopeful at all.
Without more help, he doesn't believe Burns or Harney County will ever recover.
I don't believe they can without outside assistance. It's just that simple.
And there's worry something like this will happen again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leaving officials like Irwin and residents like Campbell left waiting for repairs to begin.
I'm hoping everything will be okay before winter comes.
As they collectively hold their breath going forward.
It affects you.
In Burns, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
All right, from Burns, we come back here to Portland, where the Timbers have kicked off their 14th annual Stand Together Week. Stand Together Week. Wow. Stand Together Week is a community initiative that supports local nonprofits.
You just like this because you look tall.
I'm huge. Yesterday, Timbers players worked alongside members of the group Friends of Trees, removing invasive weeds and cleaning up trash near Bybee Lake.
Speaking of trash.
Oh, come on. Let's go. Today, the team is heading to Northeast Portland. They're going to go to the Children's Book Bank. You want to come out to the shop, Ryan, since you've run out of video? Stand back up, China. Today, the Timbers will head to Northeast Portland to work on the Children's Book Bank. They're going to spruce up community-donated books before they go to preschoolers from low-income families. Thank you for participating. Also, a reminder this morning, the KGW School Supply Drive coming soon to a school district near you. This is for everyone, those tall and those not so tall.
Okay.
You can join us this year by going to kgw.com/school. You can sign up your business, your organization, your school even, to help us collect school supplies this year for local kids and local teachers. We have a goal this year to send thousands of kids and teachers in the area back to school with all the supplies they need, and we're asking for your help.
It is a tall order, but we will do it. All right, on a more serious note, we will bring it back to the Glen Jackson Bridge right now. I-205 southbound, 2 lanes blocked now with the crash. This just happened within the last 8 minutes. And right now, you can see traffic is very quickly stacking up around that. That's about mid-span. I'll switch gears real quick. I think it can give you a different perspective. Door number 2 should take us back to SR 14. There you go. Yeah, just a minute ago, this was completely clear. So the drive is stacking up really, really quickly. If you have the choice and you're about to hit the roads, maybe I-5 is a better option for you out of Clark County at this point, as this is obviously going to keep things snarled for a little bit longer on that side of town. Right now, the rest of the freeway drive is improving. 30 minutes gets you in from Wilsonville, 23 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough, and a solid 27 minutes or so your westbound commute on I-84 from Troutdale. Drew?
Thank you, Chris. Coming up here on the Sunrise Show, we're going to tell you how people in Houston, Texas are honoring the lives lost in the deadly floods that hit southern Texas since late last week.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Hundreds of people gathered last night to remember the 27 campers and counselors killed by the Texas floodwaters that hit Camp Mystic.
A memorial in Houston honored their lives. Corley Pearls shows us how the community is paying tribute.
Standing in a big circle. Camp Mystic families come together in song.
Mystic made me who I am. Because I love the camp. It's my home away from home.
Hundreds honoring the campers impacted by the catastrophic floods in Central Texas.
A lot of them were some of my cabin mates' sisters.
The aftermath of the flood destroyed the campgrounds that held many memories, and the cabin 8-year-old Stella Gullidge once stayed in.
I just am really sad of what happened about Camp Mystic, and I wish it never happened.
I saw the cabin where I had my first campers. That was a photo that came out. I saw my first cabin as a camper, and it just doesn't match with my memories.
Inside the Church of St. John the Divine, a packed sanctuary, praying for the girls and others whose lives are changed by the floods. Camp families spreading Mystic sisterhood, wearing white and wrapping trees in green ribbon.
How would you want everybody to remember them and to honor everyone at Camp Mystic?
By just keeping them in your thoughts and prayers and making sure that they're not forgotten and everyone's remembered.
Again, it was Corley Peel reporting for us this morning from Houston, Texas. Back here in Portland, a live look from our Rose City Sky Camp. Man, that is a picture-perfect start to the day on this Tuesday. You know who else knows how picture-perfect it is? That would be one Rodney Hill. He's up there on the weather deck. Needs a proper introduction, though, China.
Where is the mic stand?
Oh, you guys love the mic stand.
Yes, we do.
All right.
Now introducing Rod Hill.
Thank you.
Dun-dun-dun.
Thank you. Happy to be here for this matinee morning show. Don't forget to take care of your servers. They're out there working hard for you. What else am I supposed to say? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, all right. I think management hates the mic stand, but it is kind of fun. All right, here is a look at what's going on today. Beautiful clear skies over Portland. This will be a hot afternoon. I want to show you the satellite picture, which does show some clouds offshore, and that's a push of cooler marine air that will sweep in here tomorrow. It'll bring cloud cover with it and hold our temperatures in the 70s for a couple of days, and there might be some light moisture. You see radar's picking up some light rain offshore from Washington this morning. Our Futurecast models love some light rain along the coast tomorrow morning. Maybe there's a trace in the valley. Here's a look at our watch warning map for today. The big story here is all the colors basically are tied to high fire danger. That red is the red flag warning for today for thunderstorm activity and possible new fire starts from lightning strikes in central Oregon. There is a heat advisory today also, don't forget. This is technically east of the Dalles, so not including. You folks will be in the upper 90s today, but from Hermiston out toward Pendleton and then up into Yakima, temperatures will be anywhere from 100 to 105 or 106. You folks will see cooling temperatures coming in tomorrow, and a lot of you will hold in the lower 90s tomorrow. Here's the live shot from Providence Park. Almost the exact same view I have here from the KGW weather deck, looking out over the West Hills. Early morning number. We're now up to 67 degrees in the 8 o'clock hour. Other temperatures, it's still cloudy and foggy along the coast. Yesterday, it was afternoon before a lot of folks along the beaches started to get some sun, and we had temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. We'll expect that same pattern to take place today. All right, our Futurecast model, thunderstorms in central Oregon later today. Here are the clouds coming in tomorrow morning, and notice the green, Tillamook, Astoria. Weather models love a little bit of light rain for you folks. The clouds will thicken during the day tomorrow for the valley, so if that's true, we'll be dry in the morning. Thickening cloudiness will hold our temperatures in the 70s during the day, and we'll still have some cloudiness Thursday morning that will give way to afternoon sun, but we'll still be really comfortable in the temperature department. All right, high temps today. Salem, 91 degrees. McMinnville, up to 90 degrees. Winds will be light in the valley once again. I don't feel any breeze up here on the KGW weather deck this morning. Southwest Washington, generally expected to hold just shy of 90 degrees, and then here is the 7-day. 90 today would equal yesterday. Tomorrow, only 75, big drop off. 78 Thursday, and then back to sun going into the weekend. 91 Friday and 80s over the weekend. That's the forecast from the KGW weather deck, brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. We do have our birthday party, and here it is. All right, who's up first? Rosie, 7 in Tigard. Happy birthday to you today. Also celebrating on this Tuesday, Sophia, celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to you. And then we have Princess Danny. Sophia was 22. Princess Danny, 27 today. Happy birthday to you. And Gisela is 84 today, out there in the woods enjoying. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have a wonderful day. And that's our list. Birthdays at kgw.com. Send us your wishes and photos, and we will celebrate with you. Here's Chris.
Hey, Rod, thanks for that. I got an update on that traffic alert on the southbound Glen Jackson Bridge. Some good news here. Emergency vehicles just clearing the scene, so they've got at least one lane open. However, 205 southbound is really stacked up now across the bridge into Clark County. So if you're about to hit the roads, here's the lineup that starts now prior to SR 14. Give yourself a couple of extra minutes there. The I-5 drive, the end of the line there, has made its way down to the interstate bridge. So with that in mind, here's a quick look at your commute times. Equally a little slow right now, crossing the Columbia on both I-5 and I-205. And last but not least, over to the Gladstone area, 205 south, thick between Clackamas and Gladstone, about 15 miles an hour, gets you down to the Abernathy Bridge. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. the KGW Plus TV app.
Here's a look at our top stories this morning. The Yamhill County Sheriff's Office is investigating after they say multiple people were stabbed and deputies shot at someone. This happened just before 7 o'clock last night on Southeast Sheridan Road in Sheridan. The stabbings victims were taken to the hospital. No word on the extent of their injuries or if anyone was killed. A 32-year-old man accused of driving drunk and hitting up to a dozen people in Old Town faced a judge yesterday. Police say Tyler Miller ran a stop sign on 4th and Cooch just after 2 a.m. on July 4th. Initially, 4 people went to the hospital, some of them with broken bones. 5 other victims have also come forward. Police say that Miller's blood alcohol was more than twice the legal limit. He pleaded not guilty and is due back in court next week. And we're tracking a new wildfire that started yesterday in the gorge, prompting level 1 and 2 evacuation orders in the town of Wyeth, about 8 miles east of Cascade Locks. The most recent update shows the fire has burned at least 25 acres. At one point, it was impacting transmission lines, cutting out power to Cascade Locks, but the power is back on now. I-84 is still open near the fire, but officials say smoke could impact visibility.
Yeah, let's hope that blaze continues to be relatively small acreage today. Winds pick up a little bit this afternoon. There'll be gusty, stronger west winds the next couple of days in the gorge. 90 in Portland, light winds, and then the big cool down tomorrow and Thursday, showing back-to-back days with highs in the 70s.
Not done with the Clark County commutes just yet. There's a quick look at them. Not quick. 30 minutes to get you in from Main Street, almost 30 minutes, Patton Parkway, South I-84. So both Columbia crossings here, not great. The earlier crash on the Glen Jackson Bridge just moved, so traffic's starting to move there, but there's the residual delay back past SR 14, and of course I-5, the end of the line, has just now made its way down to the Interstate Bridge. Other drive times popping up there on your screen.
Hey, we've only got about a minute left in our show this morning. Remember a couple of hours ago I mentioned the fireworks in Los Angeles on the 4th of July? This is some video from the news helicopter for our NBC affiliate, and you can see, I mean, this is in the city proper, right? This is like downtown LA, and there are fireworks just popping up in neighborhoods all over that area. Yeah. Like Portland, fireworks are absolutely 100% illegal in the city of Los Angeles.
LOL.
LOL.
Laugh out loud because they are not obeying.
Oh,
that
no,
law.
my goodness. No, but isn't that pretty wild?
Yeah.
I think they said there was some reports of 1,000 calls of fireworks going off, which I don't even think 1,000 seems like enough. There's probably more than that on the 4th of July. So anyway, that was video from the sky the night of the 4th of July.
Kids, I tell them not to do something, and as soon as I tell them...
Oh, your kids don't listen to you, Chris?
They don't listen to me. It's like the mass public.
Buckle up, buddy, because you still have lots of years ahead.
I do, don't I?
I feel like the bigger they get, the less they listen. How about that?
More fireworks they're going to launch.
Hey, thank you for watching us, by the way, on this, what is this now? The
Tuesday.
8th of July?
Yes.
This 8th of July on the Sunrise
fireworks
Show.
Time?
Hey, we've got another show coming your way tomorrow. We plan to see you straight up at 5 a.m.